So let's talk about the Sirius portal and the energy themes for this portal and for the month of July. So every year around this time in the first week of July, there's this sacred gateway between Earth and the star Sirius, and it's a very high frequency energy, powerful portal for us here on Earth, and it offers us a lot of light codes, opportunity to enhance our spiritual awareness, to advance in our ascension journey. And it's also great for creativity, receiving messages, downloads, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a few seconds. So this whole portal, this whole period since the solstice, and we had one special event in the solstice. Maybe some of you were here, and this whole period from the solstice all the way to the eight Lions Gateway in August. It's a very auspicious period for manifestation, for creativity, for planting the seeds. I see the solstice as a time for releasing, for planting those new seeds, or reassessing your plantation. And the 7th of July today brings this energy of completion. And there's a big sense of shifting the frequency, not just individually, but collectively, or not just collectively, but individually too. And then the 8th of August is a very auspicious time for manifesting and for taking action. So don't worry if you're not feeling like you want to take action right now. When you get to the Lion's Gate, you will feel that fire being more ignited. All right. So the Sirius star is also known as the dog star. And when I was tuning in to the energy of this portal and of this month, I kept seeing dogs. And they weren't any dogs. It was a specific breed, and it was a black dog. And I was thinking, are there any canine beings that want to come through? But then I got the aha, it's because Sirius star is a dog star. And it's the brightest star in the night sky, and it's part of the constellation Canis Major, which is Latin for greater dog. Okay, and Sirius is a binary star system consisting of the brighter star, which is Sirius A, and a faint white dwarf companion, which is Sirius B. Although there is a theory that says Sirius is originally a trinary star, but Sirius C no longer exists. And it's also known as the Orion's hunting dog. It is about 8.6 light years distance from our solar system. So not so far, not so close either. The Pleiades is closer. And Sirius A, which is the brightest and the biggest star, is about twice the mass and 1.7 times the radius of our sun. So a lot bigger than our sun, and then Sirius B is roughly the size of Earth. So it's much smaller than Sirius A and then our sun too. And the Sirians, they are beautiful beings. Mostly, they're very connected to Earth, and they're mostly benevolent beings. It's actually a very complex race. It's not just one type of race, as many races, including the human race, but they have helped to create the original human DNA composition. They are known to be the architects of the universe. They're very much connected to the Lemurian and Atlantis times, very connected to ancient Egyptian times and culture as well. They can be humanoids, meaning they look like us or we look like them. Hence, they have helped created the RDNA composition, but they can also be non-humanoids. There are some aquatic beings as well, kind of like merfolk, mermaids, but not as the Disney cartoon version of mermaids, more like half fish, half human. And also whales and dolphins are from Sirius B. So if you feel a connection with whales and dolphins and cetaceans in general, you probably feel a connection with the Sirians. They operate from the sixth, seventh dimension up. So they are highly evolved, and they are also part of the Galactic Federation of Light. That's why they work with us very closely, and they're supporting us through this process of ascension. Great. So let's talk about the themes. That was just an introduction for the Sirius and Sirians beings. The biggest theme for this portal, it's the completion of a big cycle for Earth and for us. And you are probably feeling this in your personal life as well. There's something that's ending and something that's beginning. And it's not just any kind of ending or beginning. It's a big, big shift. And like I mentioned, this period that we're in brings forth this big shift in frequency. So that means there is a higher octave in our evolution. As we continue to ascend, we are moving up an octave. Okay. And like I said, you may be feeling this shift internally. It could be more of a subtle shift, not a subtle shift in the sense that it's soft shift, but in the subtle realms, in the subtle energy. But it could be that there's something seemingly coming from the external world that is also pushing you towards this shift. So maybe something has changed, could be related to work, could be related to personal life, to relationships. Something happened that is being the catalyst for this shift. And then the message is don't hold on, don't get attached, surrender, stop resisting, because we as humans, we tend to resist change, but we cannot evolve if we continue to resist the change. We are evolving all the time, okay? And with every end, as you know, there is a new beginning. That's just the law of the universe. And also, I'll add here with big endings, with big completions, then there's also a big new leap, a big shift, a big new beginning. And for every theme, I also offer a prompt for you to reflect. You can journal when you have some more time. And again, you're going to have the PDF so you can go back to the questions and the prompts and the affirmations. The prompt that I offer for this theme is, where am I being called to let go of resistance and embracing the new? Okay. Be honest and loving, compassionate with yourself. And an affirmation that it is safe to change. It is safe to change. It is safe to surrender to my inner guidance. And I love the inner guidance because you know, your soul knows your divine guidance is within you. And this message was being supported by our friend Thoth, and I have connected with certain beings and guides for these themes. And Thoth was bringing this energy of the Sirians, of being the architect, right? The builder of this new earth of your life. So the message that they were bringing through is that we are the architects of the cosmic DNA on Earth. We are helping you to repattern and recode your DNA. We are guiding you through acquiring more coherence and unity from wisdom to love, and shadow to light, which can apply again to you as individuals, but also to what we're experiencing collectively on Earth right now. Thoth was showing me this sort of square that was turning into a pyramid, and on each of the corners there was a word. So wisdom and love, shadow and light, and it's about bringing all of that into coherence and into unity, bringing all of that together. Okay, it's not about ignoring the shadow or just wanting to experience love. It's about acquiring wisdom as well and integrating the shadow so that you can be more of the light that you are. The next theme is inspiration and creativity at peak. Pay attention to any ideas and projects that you are starting now, or reassessing, or revamping, or things that are, or downloads that you're receiving, because they can be very fruitful projects. Okay. I started this channel, this community 2 years ago around this time. I forgot to say this, or did I say this? The first event that we had inside the Starseed Grid community was the 7/7 Sirius Portal. That's why, it's always a celebration and it's very meaningful, this portal. And it is a manifestation portal. Again, with the 8/8 coming up, pay attention to the ideas, the creativity as well that you want to express, because it's going to be very fruitful. So a prompt is to pay attention to these new ideas that are popping up, reassess old ideas and projects, and see them through new lenses as well. So even if you are already working on something, this is a great time for you to evaluate, reassess, and make some shifts and some changes. Okay. And the affirmation is, I am the master of my reality. I am always co-creating with the universe or source or whatever you like. And this theme, this message is supported by Archangel Gabriel, who I have been connecting more deeply over the last year, I want to say. And he is the divine messenger, right? He's the one that brings the messages. He was the one that brought the message to Virgin Mary that she was going to be a mother and that Jesus was coming to Earth. So he has this ability to bring these messages about things that are being birthed. So not necessarily a birth, like a literal birth of a human being, but just birthing something new. So he's saying something new is being birthed by you. Archangel Gabriel is also super supportive of creativity and art and inspiration. And he says, when you follow your heart's desire and give room to creativity, the channels to the higher dimensions stay wide open. This is a way for you to connect with your guides, with the spiritual realm, is to be creative, to stay inspired. Next, we have the world is crumbling, and this is no news, right? The old world is crumbling so that the new earth that we are can emerge. So in this process, yes, shadows will come up to the surface. Shadows will come out of the closet, right? There's more light. You're opening up the closet. You're turning on the lights. And they come up to the surface to be acknowledged and to be healed, both for the collective and individually as well. And this year is a year 9, and it's to do with completion. Okay. I talked a little bit more about this theme in the first energy themes that I did for this year. It's on my YouTube on the energy themes playlist. It's also the snake year. So, and I had this vision as well of the snake, and I was wondering why it's showing up, and then it makes sense now because I remembered it's a snake year, and so the snake is shedding, right? Shedding the skin and also going through that renewal process. Continue to hold the frequency of light and love in your heart, regardless. This is the main prompt, the main message. But another prompt is, what shadow aspects have I been avoiding to look at? What is my next step in healing that? So whenever we're going through another cycle, we're shifting frequencies, we're moving an octave up, we have to look at the shadows and do something about it, like practically do something about it and be really honest with yourself. And that can be something that is more subtle, as in a belief, or it can also be something very practical, like your diet. Like something needs to shift in that, like you need to be more practical in that. So take a good, honest look at that. And also, this is the time as well for us to heal. So maybe set an intention for this practice today. Okay. And an affirmation is, I am always anchored into my heart center, even when the external world seems chaotic. And that is a very useful affirmation, okay? Because when we look externally and see certain things happening in the world, it will give us validation of this chaos, but we can't let that be the reflection, because the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And that's why the key is to stay anchored in your heart. And that's something the Pleiadians always say, as you probably know. It's really, really important to stay anchored into your heart center, because you're gonna go through ups and downs in this human experience. But if you're anchored into your heart, you will always come back to your center. The one that was supporting this message was Anubis, or Anubis. Don't know how to pronounce it properly, but he is this Egyptian god that has this the head of a dog, the black dog that I mentioned earlier. So then it also made sense that he was wanting to bring this message. Both Thoth and Anubis are holding the Ankh, which is the key of life for Egyptians. And Anubis specifically, he takes care of the afterlife. He's the god of the death and mummification, in the myth, the mythology. But he is bringing this message of the end of the cycle. This is the end of a big cycle for Earth, and there cannot be a rebirth without death. So sometimes we tend to look at death as something negative, but I feel like he's bringing this energy of um, understanding that if we want to move up, move through, go up an octave, shift into a new cycle, into a new frequency, we need to allow parts of us to die. Okay, that's just the part of this process. And also, again, when you think of the world, you know, we need to remember that. So some things will shift and crumble and be released and die in order for the new to emerge. And that was the vision that I was having. And at first I thought it was just Thoth, but then I was pleasantly surprised that Anubis wanted to come through as well. The next theme is an upgrade in the human emotional system. With every cycle, you receive upgrades in your cosmic DNA, and so your energy bodies will shift as well. That's why you might be feeling extra emotional or just feeling your emotions in a different way because of this upgrade in your emotional body. Okay, there's a big shift currently in the emotional system and in the way that you're dealing with your emotions. So some of you might actually be learning how to feel the emotions that perhaps you've suppressed your whole life or even for lifetimes. And some of you might actually be learning how to be more neutral because that's collectively where we're moving towards. We're moving towards this thing that the Pleiadians have been talking about for years. It's called sacred neutrality. It's not being apathetic, it's quite the opposite. It's being so in touch with your emotions and so anchored into your heart center that you're able to navigate life, the ups and downs of the emotional system with more neutrality, knowing that it is part of the process of evolution of consciousness, okay? And it's part of the human experience as well, which in the future, all of us will actually be more in this sacred neutrality system. And that's something the Pleiadians always say too. They are not experiencing the spectrum of emotions that we currently have. They have in the past or what's past for us, but now they're more in that sacred neutral space. And a prompt is, how have I been handling my emotions? What is my overall frequency? Is it victimhood or empowerment or somewhere in between? And this, again, I invite you to stay compassionate and be honest with yourself. And the affirmation is, it is safe to feel my emotions. When I feel, I heal. And it is also safe to feel my emotions differently than before. And that's something that can happen, that's very common, that you start noticing that the emotions that you felt before like you feel them differently. And the ego will go, whoa, why are you not sad about this? Or why you're not jumping out of joy? And that's not to say that you shouldn't feel your emotions, but again, the way that you are experiencing them will be more and more different. And this one was supported by the whale mothers from Sirius B. I felt so much love, and if you if you know me, you know that I love whales, and I have loved them ever since I was a kid, and I have connections with Mintaka, and so then it makes sense that I love them. But they came through, and they felt more like the whale mothers, really, from Sirius B. And they say, we ask you to share your song and hold the tone of harmony amongst you and the whole humanity. You are moving through emotional upgrades and therefore moving into a higher octave in your consciousness. You are held and you are loved. So sharing your song and holding the tone of harmony. And that starts really with you, within you, right? How do we want to see union, unity, harmony, oneness in the external world if we're not seeing within us, if we're not nurturing that within us? Okay, let me know if you love whales too. And the next theme is keep choosing yourself, and that's a deeper layer of sovereignty. This is such a big theme that I've been seeing so often with my clients, with groups that I've been working. It is so important in this process of ascension and healing and awakening to continue to choose yourself, because the world will want to bring you back to the old, even your ego, right? Your ego wants to keep you in the safe familiar places. So whenever there's something new and different, your ego's like, I'm not sure that we should go there. Let's just go back. And if you are aware of that, you can love your ego and then connect with your heart and choose yourself. So the world will continue to give you opportunities to practice and learn sovereignty. And I say opportunities, but sometimes we see them as challenges, as obstacles, as tests. But it's really all just opportunities. And if you make the commitment to shift, if you make the commitment to lead with your heart, to be sovereign, the universe will be bringing up opportunities for you to practice that. Because one thing is to know mentally, one thing is to feel emotionally, the other thing is to actually be that, embody that sovereign self that you are. Okay, so stay sovereign, keep loving yourself, keep choosing you, and remember that the sovereign Christ is awakening within you. And this is something that we've been talking every month. We're talking about Christ consciousness. If you go back to the energy themes for each of the months this year, there's this series that we're doing, Christ consciousness series. And sovereignty is a very important piece of the Christ consciousness. And the sovereign Christ is not the Christ that we were told. Okay, or if we're talking about Yeshua, we were not taught to see Yeshua as sovereign, right? He sacrificed. So when we start awakening to this truth within us and to this heart awareness, to the love that we are, we start to understand that he was the most sovereign being that has ever been on earth, or one of, because he was so certain of his truth that he didn't change himself for others, even until the end. A little prompt for you is in which areas of my life am I not choosing myself completely? And the affirmation is, when I am in my heart center, I am sovereign. When I choose myself, I say yes to the universe bringing forth aligned opportunities, relationships, and experiences. I'll repeat that. When I choose myself, I say yes to the universe bringing forth aligned opportunities, relationships, and experiences. And the thing is, the universe will always bring you aligned opportunities. Then you have to check, what are you aligning with, right? So if you are aligned in your heart with your heart's desires, with your spirit, with unity consciousness, with Christ consciousness, then the universe will bring opportunities that are aligned with that, and experiences and relationships. And this was supported by the Lyrans, who are the Pleiadians ancestors, and they've been coming through very, very frequently for me, and maybe for you as well. Maybe you might be feeling them closer. And the group that has come to me quite recently actually was, they presented themselves as the Royal Empire of Lyrans. They felt very royal and very sovereign. So it's no coincidence that they're supporting this message of sovereignty. And they say, we are waiting for you in anticipation. We see you and we honor you. This 8-8 is not just any portal, it marks the era of sovereignty, where the connection with your heart will be the only way forward. We celebrate you. We will be walking with you more closely, and you will feel our presence more constantly. We love you. Thank you. Let me know in the chat if you feel a connection or if they're coming up for you. Something that's been happening quite often is when the Pleiadians come through, there's a feline being connected to them as well. Because as I said, they are the sort of ancestors of the Pleiadians, our ancestors as well. And lastly, the theme is your channels are being more open for more communication with star beings and guides. That's why I'm sharing with you that some more beings are coming through, and maybe for you as well, you might be feeling that. Maybe you're not in touch with any of your guides or of these star beings, and they will start coming up for you. If you're here, you're probably feeling them already. And maybe you already have some guides that you're in touch with, but in the next few months, in the next year, you will notice that they'll be revealing themselves more and more. And usually they reveal themselves when you need the most, when you need a message, when you need a specific support. So just know that your channels are being activated and open, your psychic skills are being awakened. And yes, that requires constant practice and continuous journey. It's a continuous journey of practicing and opening yourself up to this beautiful connection. And so, a prompt that is a little bit more practical, actually, if you want to develop that connection, is what practical things can I do to develop such connections? Is it more meditation, more breath work? We're going to do it today. So this can also be an intention for you today to connect with more of these star beings and guides. Okay. And the affirmation is, I am open to receive guidance from my star guides whenever it feels relevant and important for me. And I like that because sometimes we want to know who they are and everything about them, but just trust that if your channels are open, whoever needs to come through and connect with you will come through in the right timing, in divine timing. And this message was supported by the 90 collective Pleiadians who, they're my guides. And this was actually a recent message. I believe it was this week, when they said many of us star beings are ready to communicate with you and collaborate because this is the era that you're entering. This era is not based on separation or hierarchy. It is based on community and cooperation. I just want to share this opportunity to work together. And also, if it is one of your intentions to open up your channels to communicate with more of these star beings or other beings as well, I have a course coming up on the 28th of July. It's a channeling course. You will learn not just about the Sirians, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, but also about the Archangels, the Ascended Masters, the nature spirits, the fairies, the dragons, different types of guides and spirits that you can work with. And you will have tools and practices to deepen that connection, especially with your higher self. So this whole course is divided in two levels. We have level one, which is Introduction to Channeling. It's a 3-module, 3-week. And this is mostly for personal development, personal spiritual development. That is, if you want to just deepen your connection with your higher self, connect with new guides, understand how to connect, and not just understand, but create your own unique way to connect with them. And then there's an extension of that, which is a 7-module certification course. And that is if you would like to continue the journey, but you're thinking about offering channeling as a service. So working with other people one-on-one or in groups like this. And also, if you're already working, you're already offering some services in the field of spirituality, multidimensionality, and all of that, and you want to incorporate channeling into your existing offerings. And I would even say, even if you're a psychologist or you just want to incorporate more intuition and more channeling into the work that you're doing, that is also for you. And also, if you just want to go deeper into this work of channeling, this is also for you. But just know that we're going to be focusing in the second part with one-on-one sessions as well. So you'll be working in pairs with other people. And so there's lots of practice, lots of information. You don't need a certificate to start channeling, but what this course will do is it will give you structure and it will prepare you to start working or continue to work with everyone that is open for this work. So we start on the 28th of July, enroll by the 25th of July. Here's the link, willcomeinata.com/channeling. You'll find the link in the PDF as well, or in my website, or a link in my bio. And also the Starseed Grid, as I mentioned, is my online community. We do this every month. We actually meet twice. This month is open for everyone, even the next one, which is a channeling session. So the second meeting is mostly towards the end of the month. And we don't do the energy themes or breath work. We actually just gather in a circle online, and I channel the Pleiadians or whoever want to come through, and then you get to ask questions as well, or not. You can just sit and absorb the energy, okay? And that is going to be, I don't know which date, but it's going to be, I think, in a couple of weeks. I'll put it in the email as well, and it's going to be open for free this month as we're celebrating. So you're welcome to join as well. Thank you for being with me. And these are the themes and the guides and the beings. Let me know in the chat which one or which ones have resonated most with